That is Brooke Morris, and let me tell you a little bit about her. She's a seasoned leadership professional with over 20 years of experience in DFW healthcare and human resources. Having witnessed the industry's growth and diversification firsthand, Brooke has held various leadership roles, bringing extensive expertise in healthcare management, administration, and hospital billing, accounting and management, policy development, and implementation. Her role at DeMars Associates has been fostering organization excellence. She has developed comprehensive training programs focused on diversity and inclusion hiring, leadership, personality profiling, and organizational change management. Additionally, she has authored multiple employee handbooks to support organizational clarity and compliance. She's a member of ACHRM, and she is EHR certified, and she's committed to advancing the best practice of healthcare management and employee management. So it's my pleasure to welcome Brooke. Oh, also, by the way, we're going to save some time for you to ask questions. So as she speaks, be prepared if you have any questions to ask at the end. But welcome, Brooke Morris.
Yeah. Thank you all for having me. So my voice doesn't carry super well, so I am going to be using this, but I'm a pacer, so I can't have this stand in my way. So, hi everyone. Hi. Okay, so to start, not to be cheesy, but I am HR, so I have to do an icebreaker of some kind. It just kind of comes with the territory. So can I have 2 volunteers that want to come up for a brief little something? Looking at you guys, team. Okay, Amanda. Okay, yes, come on up. And Amanda. Yay. Hello, what's your name?
Stephanie.
Hi, Stephanie. I'm Brooke. This is Amanda.
Hi. How are you? Good. How are you?
Look at this. Friends all around.
Yeah, we go way back.
I mean, yeah. Okay, so using simply what you may know or may not know about these individuals, 2 truths and a lie. If you'll just come up with 2 truths and a lie super quick and just say them, and based on, again, what you know or don't know about them, what you can assume, maybe they have a tell on their lie and you can be able to tell that they're not being honest, or maybe, I mean, anything. Just see if you can detect the lie. So I'm gonna let you go first. Unless you don't have yours, I'll let Amanda go first because it looks like she does. Okay, yeah. Amanda.
Okay, I am 6 foot tall.
Okay.
I am the oldest of 5 girls, and I very much enjoy reading.
Can you do a more convincing lie?
I've got 2 kids. I'm happily married, and I don't like cats.
Okay. Okay.
Right? Yeah. I'm a sociopath. You guys don't know.
That's fine. Yeah, that's great. Okay. So what do you think their lies were?
He loves cats.
Oh, is that a good one? Is that?
Do
you love cat? Well, okay. Anybody else? Anybody else? Any guesses? Okay. Okay.
I don't love my husband. Right? No, I'm just kidding. No, it's the cat. I do like cats.
That's a different conversation.
It is. That's
Okay.
why I prefer the margarita.
Yeah. You do you.
She
Okay. 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 And do we know Amanda's lie? Okay. So what was your lie?
It was the cats.
Yeah, it was
I
the
do
cat.
like cats.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Well, thank you. So let's give them a hand. So yeah, so I like to start with icebreakers, number 1, because I am an HR person, and number 2, because like that kind of gets into what you can assume about people, what you know about people. And based on what you know, how they communicate. So yes, my name is Brooke Morris, with all those credentials behind my name, but my favorite title ever is mom, followed by wife. But I am a chief people enthusiast, office cheerleader, and friend extraordinaire. So ignore the credentials and please like those titles. Okay. I'm going to do a lot of nodding over there at my friend Lindsay because the clicker doesn't work. So yes, attention to teamwork, resolving conflict in the workplace. So, I mean, how many of you have had conflict in the workplace? Like everyone. Why does my husband and business partner raise his hand first? Like, what is that? But yes, conflict in the workplace. If you haven't experienced it, you will at some point. If this is your first job or your 50th job, it exists. So this presentation will discuss effective strategies for managing and resolving conflicts among team members and leaders alike. So it doesn't matter. Yay, did somebody win something? Okay, so it doesn't matter if you are an employee or a team member, or if you're a leader of staff. This will apply to everyone across the board, no matter your role. It's fine. Emphasizes the importance of communication, empathy, and negotiation skills in transforming workplace tensions into opportunities for collaboration and growth. So our firm, we are located in North Richland Hills. We were in Hurst. We do alternative dispute resolution. So we partner and work with, if I mess this up, any of you speak up, but large companies in their dispute processes. Essentially, I like to say we bring people to the table instead of the courtroom. Businesses can be quite litigious, so we are experts at being neutral, which everyone at that table can tell you. So, go ahead. Okay, so the significance of effective communication. Have any of you guys ever been yelled at by a boss? Okay, yeah, I have, but I like to think I've never yelled. They're smiling. But yes, so effective communication. Clear expression of concern. So effective communication enables team members to express their concerns clearly, which is essential for addressing issues before they escalate into conflicts. By articulating thoughts and feelings openly, employees can contribute to a more harmonious work environment. So if there is an issue at work, are you telling your supervisor, or are you telling somebody that can actually make the change? Here, this is a concern. Or are you simply telling your coworkers that really can't do anything about it? And are you sowing discord, or are you actually trying to make a change? Understanding perspectives. Understanding different perspectives is fundamental in resolving conflicts. Effective communication fosters active listening, allowing team members to appreciate diverse viewpoints and work towards a mutually agreeable solution. So, different perspectives. Having been married for 15 years, I know that's not super long, but it's long. You know that seeing different perspectives is kind of like what marriage is all about, what friendships are all about. And I really feel like personally that does apply in the workplace, because I can tell you, leaders of staff, those of you that have employees, the pressure is always there for them to perform, for you to perform, and everything kind of falls on you if the work falls apart, right? I will tell you where perspective comes in is your employees, most of the time, they really don't care about that. They don't understand it and they don't know. And so there's often a lot of misunderstandings around that. Preventing misunderstandings. Timely communication can prevent misunderstandings and misinterpretations that often lead to conflicts. Regular check-ins and open dialogue promote transparency and trust among team members. Timely communication. I will definitely speak to that. If there's a concern and people are waiting and not saying anything and sowing discord amongst their teammates, talking about the elephant in the room, what have you, instead of actually approaching those that can make a change, that just kind of breeds and it festers and it just becomes this nasty, toxic thing that no one's willing to fix. Everyone's just willing to gossip about it. So communicating about it timely is very important. So the importance of empathy and conflict resolution. I can tell you as an HR person that graphic right there of the heart and the brain, that sums up my job. A lot of times I like to think it's rainbows and unicorns and I can lead with my heart. Sometimes I have to lead with my brain, unfortunately. So, how does that apply to, your everyday conversations about conflict in the workplace? So it enhances understanding. If you have empathy, empathy enables team members to understand and share the feelings and perspectives of others, which is crucial in resolving misunderstandings and conflicts. By putting themselves in each other's shoes, individuals can foster a more harmonious work environment. So I go back to the fact that everything falls on your shoulders as a leader. Doesn't matter. They're there to do their work to the best of their ability. Everything else is noise, and that's okay. Likewise, for the leader, if you've been a leader for too long, I really feel like you forget what it's like to be in the trenches, to be there doing the day-to-day work, talking to, just trying to live that harmonious work environment that we're all trying to live. So I really feel like some empathy and seeing both sides of it really enhances understanding. You're not Lindsay. Okay. Builds trust and respect. When team members express empathy, it builds trust and respect, creating a safe space for open dialogue. This trust facilitates more effective communication during conflicts, allowing for quicker and more satisfactory resolutions. I can speak to experience. Currently, where we work now, I will use Amanda as an example. She is very well liked, very, very trusted. She is also our director of process and compliance. So more than HR, she's the one that says, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. It's just more in a legal sense. But she is a very safe place, very easy to talk to. So no matter her title, no matter that she really is, an actual real life attorney and knows a thing or two, she's at the same time, you can go in her office and shut the door and sit on her little couch and talk to her about anything, and she will be present with you. Therefore, there's trust and respect with her, and people know they can bring her the big issues and the small. Empathy fosters team cohesion, encourages team cohesion by allowing individuals to recognize the common goals and values shared within the team. This shared understanding leads to collaborative efforts in resolving conflicts, enhancing team dynamics. Productivity, right? If everyone is understanding of each other, empathetic, and is understanding what both sides are trying to work with, trying to deal with, really the team can be on the same page, and that is great for productivity. So negotiation skills for conflict resolution. People that are not direct leaders of staff often think, I don't really have a space for negotiating. If I fall because I trip on this, somebody jump up here and help me. But they really feel like, I'm not really in a position to negotiate. The rules are the rules. Everything is black and white. I'm not supposed to do this. How can I negotiate? I'm not in a position to negotiate. Au contraire, I think everyone and anyone is in a position to negotiate. And sorry I keep moving, there's a huge glare on the screen. Negotiation skills are crucial for effectively resolving workplace disputes. They empower individuals to identify mutual interests, facilitate open dialogue, and achieve solutions that benefit all parties involved. By mastering negotiation techniques, teams can transform conflicts into collaborative opportunities, fostering a more, again, cohesive work environment. So in a corporate dispute issue, HR is usually the neutral third party. But I mean, y'all can be honest. How many times have you really felt like, is HR really neutral? Are they really on my side? Are they on the company side? I get it. I know. I mean, and it's a secret. We can't tell you the truth. But at the end of the day, it really is negotiation when everyone can come to the table and say, this situation really sucks. How can it benefit you? How can it benefit me? And that is the best thing. Ultimately, that is what drives people to stay at jobs, people to grow within jobs, and people just to not want to leave. They feel heard, and they feel like, again, that they are in a space that they are able to negotiate. So practical techniques for conflict resolution, active listening techniques. Does anyone know what active listening is? Like truly. Okay, so you understand it's not just really listening with your ears, but being able to like recite almost like what they said. So there is an icebreaker, and it is where somebody comes up and tells 3 to 5 facts about themselves. And then you call on somebody in the audience and you go, okay, what did they just say? And my husband said, do not do that, because you're putting someone on the spot. And I said, well, what if I like put you on the spot? Like I just tell you ahead of time, you have to listen. He's like, no, we're not going to do that. So all that to say, active listening is very important, but it is extremely difficult because there are still people out there that sound like the teachers from the Peanuts cartoons. So I know there's people I tune out as well. Effective mediation strategies. Again, with negotiation, mediation, it's always good to have a neutral third party. If that is someone from HR, they're supposed to be neutral. If that is a supervisor, if that's a coworker, just someone that really doesn't have any buy-in in that particular conflict is a really good neutral person, because the outcome does not directly affect them and they can lend a really good opinion on that. Collaborative problem-solving methods. One of my favorite collaborative problem-solving methods is a town hall meeting. We used to have them all the time. Just a chance to come up, leaders say, what's going on with the company? What's going on with a particular program? And then that leader being able to sit back and take the feedback. That's where being coachable comes into play. So constructive feedback, that leads to that. So are you coachable? I know when my son was in middle school and elementary and high school, and he played very high level baseball, my husband always told him, you have to be coachable. And I think that applies to everyone, not just employees. Yes, they need to be coachable. That's the only way you're going to grow. But also, even if you're the CEO, president, founder, goddess of all things for your company, you still need to be coachable. You need to be able to listen to those above you, linear to you, and below you, because that's the feedback that's going to help everybody grow. Not just for conflict, but just for personal growth, I feel like. And then establishing ground rules. And those ground rules don't really have to be anything in a handbook, right? There's no ground rules that are written. Some of them are unwritten. Like, again, listening, being open and honest, and giving constructive feedback. So y'all can tell I'm in HR, because now we're going to do a roadmap to fostering a positive work environment. Okay. Assessment of current environment. So what you want to do, so like, say you're a new hire. One of the first things you do when you're hired for a new job is you go in and you're just kind of observing for the first couple weeks, right? Finding out who the crazies are, who to link up to, who to hitch your wagon to, and who you need to stay away from. So that's what you need to do in your work environment anyway, but especially if there is a conflict. Assess what the current culture is, assess what's going on before you do or say anything. An example I will say is if I see a hot dog stand and I get a job at this hot dog stand, okay, I don't even really like hot dogs, but if I start a job at this hot dog stand and I say, I really don't like how this goes, but everybody else in the hot dog stand has been working there for a long time, they're chief hot dog makers, they know all the things, maybe I need to do some internal looking before I really say, I have a conflict here, so something to say about that. Develop communication protocols. Establish clear communication guidelines to enhance transparency and understanding. Okay. Training and workshops. Again, this one goes more towards leaders, but I am a firm believer in all levels becoming leaders. But continuing training and workshops, continuing the training on what the current policies are, how we can be better. And I'm also a fan of surveying. internal and external surveying to see what's working, what's not working, what are we really good at, what are we struggling with. Encourage feedback and open dialogue. Create channels for ongoing feedback to ensure voices are heard and valued. So a couple of years ago at DeMars and Associates, we had a comment box. It was my grand idea and no one used it. And I was so sad. And it sits in my kitchen and it's completely empty, but no one used it. And I said, why? Why are we not getting the feedback? Because we would hear, little whispers and mumblings from people on staff. Don't worry, it's none of these people. But we would hear about issues, but they were never brought to us. And so I think that we've learned now that there's a breakdown in being coachable. So since that time, we as leadership have began to take a stance of how can we better absorb that feedback. And so instead of being passive aggressive with a comment box that people are unlikely to use, we make it to where there's a complete open door policy. You can come in. I use myself as an example there. A lot of times my door's shut because I have ADHD and I need to focus every now and then. But they know to come to me. So, go ahead. Celebrating diversity and inclusion. Okay, so we know that diversity and inclusion are a hot topic right now, but it is one of my favorite things. I think celebrating each other's differences is phenomenal. Yes, that is the HR thing to say. We love to celebrate differences, but differences do not equal bad. They do not equal negative connotations. So we have to celebrate what is different. So promote diversity initiatives that respect and embrace different perspectives. And then monitor and adjust. That kind of falls under the continuous learning, right? We're never done learning. I'm 44. I'm learning every day. I just said my age out loud, but that's fine. But yes, monitor and adjust. Continuously address the work environment and make necessary adjustments to strategies. And again, that goes across the board, not just leaders, not just at the staff level. Don't be afraid to make suggestions. Some people are really, they've got their feet in the concrete. They do not like change. That's all great and wonderful, but sometimes change is good. We like change, but I think you have to continuously monitor and adjust. Okay, so outcomes of effective conflict resolution. Effective conflict resolution fosters an environment where team members feel heard and valued, leading to stronger relationships and enhanced teamwork. By addressing issues constructively, teams can develop trust, improve communication, and create a collaborative atmosphere that drives success. So I can tell you where there is effective conflict resolution, but also open dialogue, open door policies, and things like that, the employee turnover rate is exponentially lower. It's great. You really feel like you've got a good team in place. You feel like they're engaged, not just in the work, but that they want to be there. They want to be there with each other. They make friends with each other. It's so much easier. So now the consequences of unresolved conflicts are the opposite. They often result in tension, decreased morale, and hindered productivity. When issues are left unaddressed, misunderstandings can escalate, leading to division within the team and a toxic work environment that stifles innovation and growth. Toxic work environment is like a cuss word to me. That is the number one complaint of employees that are leaving kind of out of the blue. You're just working and one day somebody says, oh, I'm giving my notice. And you're like, why? Well, what happened? It's a toxic work environment. And then you're kind of blindsided, like, well, do tell. What happened? Who did it? So, yeah, I mean, that's a major one. And all the men right there with the ugly faces on the bags, that's because sometimes men can be passive aggressive. But I'm not sexist. I'm just saying, in my experience. Okay. Transforming tension into teamwork. Effective conflict resolution is not just about resolving disputes. It's a pathway to enhancing collaboration and fostering a positive work environment. By mastering communication, empathy, and negotiation skills, team members can turn challenges into opportunities for growth. I can tell you 110%. When we are, and when in previous jobs, when we are looking to move someone up into a bigger role with more responsibility, maybe they get a staff member, maybe it's just they have more work. We're looking for engagement. We're looking for passion about the work, not like, oh my gosh, I want to manage disputes for a living. This is amazing. But passion about doing a good job with what they're given, being a good steward, and leading, and not being afraid to say the thing. Not being afraid. Hugh, I'm going to go down. You're going to have to come up here and help me. But not being afraid to say the thing, not being afraid to address the elephant in the room and say, you know what, this really sucks. How can we overcome that? So we're looking for strong people, and I know all of you guys are too. So questions? Yes, ma'am.
Organization given 140 people, there was only one HR person,
Mm-hmm.
and I was the supervisor. What do you do when the HR person won't respond to your request for information or your request for assistance?
Dare I say, then they are not a very good HR person. So, yes. So when HR is not responsive, or when they're so bogged down with work, right? Like, you can go higher. Now, I always encourage approaching things from the right level. So go to your supervisor first. If you get nowhere there, go to the manager. If you get nowhere there, go to HR. If you still are capped out and you cannot go above HR, or not that you cannot, but if HR is not responding, then you go even higher. But you don't stop. Like, you don't give up. There's obviously a conflict that needs to be addressed. And whatever scale that is, I think it says more to your character if you keep going and keep pressing for that change. So, anyone else? Yes.
What are some conflict resolutions that you guys have handled in the past that are not like something that we would necessarily think of, something that's outside of the box that we wouldn't think that we could do through negotiation?
Okay, so I had this issue right at about 10 years ago. I had a transgender employee. He, and I don't know if anyone in here has dealt with that, but it was very interesting. But he essentially was at work. He was a relatively new hire, and he had sat me down and explained that he was going to be going through the hormone treatments and things like that to make the change. And I, of course, was like, go you, like, okay, didn't understand it, right? But fully embracing and wanting to support him. I didn't know that that meant the next day he would be showing up looking like a woman, like wearing a wig, wearing a dress, all of the things. Again, as a leader, I was so supportive, but the conflict came in because he didn't feel safe using the men's bathroom all of a sudden. He didn't feel safe where he parked. There were different things at play. And I really had to negotiate with some of our upper leadership on, you may not agree with it. You may think it's offensive. I mean, really, there's a whole gamut of issues. But I said, our job is to stand here and support him, whatever that looks like. So that was really hard. But the negotiation skill was simply, he is very valuable. He brings a lot to the team. He brings a lot to the table in terms of knowledge and experience. And if we lose him because of that, not only could we be facing a suit of profiling or what have you, but also more than that, we would be losing a valuable team member. So yeah. Anyone else? Okay. Well, if you do have any further questions, let me know. I have business cards. If I can ever consult for you or help you out with an issue, let me know. There's very few things that I have not encountered in some form or fashion. So I'm always happy to help. So